Hi there, this is Shelly Weir, President and CEO of the Florida Institute of CPAs, and welcome to the next episode of CEO Conversations. I am so excited to be joined today by one of our most important partners with Coaxis, and Christophe has been a fantastic friend to our profession and specifically to FICPA for many years. So we're going to get into a topic today around cybersecurity, which is, I know, a topic near and dear to so many of your hearts in the CPA profession, and looking forward to a great conversation today. So Christophe, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Shelly. I'm glad to be here.
Me as well. And I'm only sorry that we couldn't do this in person, but such is the world that we live in today, right? Everything is online.
That's correct, yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, let me just share a little bit about your background for those that may not be familiar. So joining me here is Christophe Reglat, who is the President and CEO of Coaxis International, which provides managed hosting services to the financial, healthcare, criminal justice, and legal professions. The company maintains the highest levels of security and regulatory compliance for these targeted industry sectors through the ownership and operation of Coaxis's private single-tenant Tier 4 data center. Christophe serves as a member on the FBI's Counterintelligence Task Force and has been the driving force for the inception, continued success, and growth of the Astronaut Challenge, the national STEM competition for middle and high school students held annually at the Kennedy Space Center. So I have two comments about your bio, Christophe. First of all, whenever anybody has any questions around cybersecurity, first of all, you're the first one that I think of, and I hope that all of our members feel that way. You are truly one of the most respected experts in the field nationally. So I'm so excited to have you today. And my second comment is now that I know this about the Astronaut Challenge, I can't wait to get my little boys involved in it when they get to middle school. That's super exciting.
It is very exciting. Yeah, it's a great competition. Great competition. It's a true STEM competition. Yeah.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Well, my youngest in particular is a little bit of a math and science nerd, so it'll be right up his alley, I think. So
perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
Sounds good. I can't wait. Well, let's just dive right in and let's talk a little bit about, I know some things that people don't like to talk about, but worry a lot about every day, especially given the financial information and the confidentiality of what we do as a profession, both for our own firms and organizations, but obviously for the clients that we serve as well. So let's talk a little bit about cyber breaches. These seem to be occurring more frequently. How prevalent are they, and why should our CPA firms, organizations, and practitioners be concerned about what's happening with breaches nowadays?
Well, so according to the federal law enforcement, it's growing. So unfortunately, it's very unfortunate, but it is a growing problem that we have, in this country, and it's not about to stop. It's about to become, worse and worse and worse, every day. So it was already very bad before COVID. When COVID, struck, everybody went remote. It's been a disaster since then. So this is something that people have to pay a lot of attention. And we're talking also today, about CPAs. Why CPAs? Because, the CPAs, and a lot of people say that, when I speak, at the FICPA conventions, why us? Why us? Well, because you're holding the digital financial information of your clients. And that for a hacker worth a lot of money. So that's what the problem is right now. And it's not something that is going away, it's something that is increasing, by the day. We have to all of us, we have to be very, very careful about that. Yeah.
I agree. I've had the displeasure of actually standing with one or two of our members when they have found out that they have been hacked or an attempt has been made to hack their systems. And of course, our first concern is making sure that we are maintaining the privacy of the clients that we serve. So it makes a lot of sense why these things are on the uptick, unfortunately.
The impact of the hacking, the impact of a CPA client being hacked, it doesn't last for 10 minutes, it lasts for years.
Yes.
It's years upon years upon years. And really, when your social security information and your financial information are on the dark web, they're not coming out of the dark web, they stay there.
Right.
So that's why, the first impact and the first hack is very important. And that's why, we're emphasizing also, the CPAs and really all financial institutions to be very, very careful about that, because it is existing. It is not in the future anymore. It is today, and it's increasing by the day.
No doubt. And I feel like these hackers are getting smarter and smarter and smarter every day. So I'd love to hear from you just some of the most common ways that they can breach systems. But I've also seen with my own two eyes, I've just been amazed, even with some of the phishing attempts that we have seen here at the organization, or have heard from some of our members, just how sophisticated they are becoming. So what are some of the common ways that hackers can breach the systems nowadays?
Well, so you have to be thinking like the hackers, okay? And most of the CPAs think like CPAs, which is normal, but they are being attacked by hackers, and you have to think like the hackers. And it's a great question. What way hackers have? Every way. That's what they get. It's every way. So when you are a CPA, you have a CPA firm, you have a moving network. You have computers being plugged together. They're all talking together. They go to the internet. It's a lot of moving, entities in there. And because you have this, a hacker is going to utilize every single spot of your network to get in. It can be hacking people. It can be hacking the computers. It can be hacking the firewalls. It can be hacking anything. And every little thing you do is one vulnerability that a hacker can do. So an update maybe on a computer that has not been done or something like that. Sometimes you do the update and close a hole and it opens another one. So that's the difficulty that the CPA have, is that they're putting a lot of things in place, but every day the network is moving, and the hackers, they're going to use every single little thing to get in. They don't need to be. It is a misconception to say oh well, I have a firewall and an encrypted drive and a multi-factor authentication, therefore I'm good, right? I'm protected. You have protected some of the things, but the hacker, again, will look at every little single thing and there's every little small mistake that you've made and try to get into that. Mm-hmm. That's the issue here.
Well, and as we all well know and can appreciate, as you stated earlier, the moment that you've got CPA behind your name in an email or on your website, it's almost like a big neon sign, right? For the hackers to try anything and everything to get through.
It is beautiful for hackers when they see, CPAs, after that, they're like, oh boy, a lot of information in there, a lot of, bank accounts, social security number, everything you have, every financial information. Says, this is a honeypot for them. This is a honeypot. So, imagine, they could go, instead of going to every individual, right? All they have to do is just go to a CPA firm and they're going to target, hundreds of people at the same time. It's perfect for them. It's perfect.
It's a scary world. Well, there have been some notable breaches, as we can all appreciate nationally, across multiple industries. What are you thinking? Because you are one of the foremost authority and experts in this space across the country, what are some of the lessons that we have learned or should learn from some of the more notorious hacks that have happened in recent years, and anything in particular that you might want to highlight for our members?
So one of the big lessons is really a misconception, because when you see those big entities, credit cards company or Staples, stuff like that, we talk about them, Microsoft, Dropbox, they're big companies, right? And so the misconception that, small and medium CPA firm have is that, oh, well, look, it just happened to the big guys, right? Because they are important. They're big, right? They're big. That's a big misconception, because yes, it is happening to them. It is happening to them because they have valuable information. And because the ransom to pay the ransomware is so big, it is going to make the news. So you don't want to interpret that to say, well, they're only targeting the big guys. No, they are targeting the smaller firm because they are easy target, but the smaller firm never makes the news.
Right.
See, that's the problem, is that they say, oh, well, I'm not Staple, I'm not, Microsoft, so therefore I'm not interested, to the hackers. Oh no, you are very interested, by the hackers. You are, like you said, you have a big auto on your head, and when they see your little CPA acronym, by your name, they love you. They want to get you. And that's mainly one of the big problems, is the People think, that only big company get hacked, but they don't. And second of all, they have to think about that, right? So now they know that they are a target. They are a true target because they're easy target, right? So imagine those big company with what they have in place already, the safeguard they have in place, they're already getting hacked. So imagine the small and medium business CPA, very easy target. And that's why, law enforcement, is like, they're trying to make, but they can't do it themselves, right? So you have people like me, saying, please, realize that you are a big target. You have already information are crucial and very valuable to hackers, and they are going to get you. And lots of people, say, well, I haven't been hacked. Well, a hacker now stay about, from the latest information I've got, about 200 days undetected in a network.
Wow.
It's huge. That means they come in your network, they stay latent there, they learn about you, they learn about all the transactions that are being made, and when the times fit them, they attack. But for 200 days, you don't know, you have no clue. And by the time you do that, you type on your keyboard, you do everything, and they learn everything about you. Your password, your bank account password, everything there is to know, they know that. They're just not making a move. Sometimes they will make a move, not significant enough that you will know it, but they start, attacking and starting getting data out, right? So that's, mainly one of the big problem, with, small CPA firm. That's why we have to help them, really get better at it.
Yeah. No, it's scary to think about. I mean, it's truly like having a stalker that you don't know you have. And every stroke that you make, you're being monitored and watched without knowing. And think about all the things that we don't even think about every day, the information that we share without realizing it. Well, so given your expertise in this area, what is maybe some advice then for how firms can mitigate this risk? Obviously, working with folks like yourself is top of the list. What else could be done for them to mitigate the risk, or if they have a breach, what can they do to respond accordingly?
So, I feel my heart feels, for the CPA firm, because, they're getting attacked every other way, right? So they have, managed service provider or managed hosting provider, whoever they are, helping them, right? And this is the job of, the IT department, right? We help them. So what we do is, we put safeguard on the network, okay? And the safeguard, if you go back a little years ago, they started with, they were like, well, we need to have, encrypted hard drive, right? And then after that, well, we need to have, firewalls. Then we need to have, multi-factor authentication. Then we need to have anti-spyware, anti-malware, antiviruses, EDRs. Those poor CPAs are like, okay. And when I do speak, they tell me, at the end of the speaking, it says, when is enough enough?
Right.
When is enough enough? What is it that I can do more, right? So, the only thing we can do is put the safeguard in their company to make sure, they have some protection, correct? The thing, that is missing in the equation, and that's a big piece missing, is the testing. So and nobody does that. I mean, very, very few do that. And this is actually critical about that, because a pen testing, the good thing about a pen testing is that it is done by a hacker. And it takes a hacker to know a hacker, and they're using the same tool as the bad hackers. So it cannot be done, of course, by the same, if you have an IT company, giving you the safeguard, that same company cannot do the testing. You don't audit yourself, as CPA knows very well. You have someone else audit your work, right? But the pen testing gives you really, it really gives, the MSP, it really gives, the IT company a light of what's good about what they're doing and what's not so good about what they're doing. So they say, okay, that's strong. They couldn't hack here. We're good with this. That not so much. We need to emphasize this instead of looking and keep piling on, safeguard, on those poor CPAs, and then, well, now you got to buy this, and now you got to buy that, right? And then at the end of the day, what you really don't know, one of the things, that you do, and those pen testing has to be done, regularly, like monthly. It's just like, if you have a camera at your house, you don't turn on the camera once a year, right? It's every day, okay? So, some other example, if you have, if you want to eat good every day, to preserve your heart and have a good heart, That's great. You're going to do this and you're going to make the best effort. At the end of the day, how do you know you have a good heart? You go see a doctor and they'll tell you if you have a good heart. It is the same thing, you know, this is the same concept. So we here to help them safeguard everything. Pen testing is here to tell us, yes, you're doing a great job, you're doing okay. And the good thing about it is that it raises the bar so high because it's done by hackers that the bad actor hackers, remember, hackers always goes for the easy way, right? It's the easy way. They're never going to target, you know, the big guys like, oh, that's too hard, you know, let's go to the easy one. So by doing this, we raise the bar so high that the hackers, the bad actor hackers, are like, okay, whatever, next, okay? That's what, your network is never going to be 100% safe. It does not exist anywhere. Even as data center never exists, okay? It will never exist. But if you raise the bar so high, now you got a fighting chance.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's interesting to think about. That's something that our CPAs can relate to, right? It's that internal quality control check of using the experts to quality control what you have in place. It's no different than, you know, peer review and things of that nature in our profession to make sure that we're holding each other accountable and up to the highest standards. And certainly you've got to have the people that know how to do it, i.e. the hackers themselves, checking to make sure that what you've got in place is prevention.
You're absolutely right. You actually nailed it. Yeah, this is what it is, peer review, you know. So one, you know, I cannot do myself, you know, the hacking, you know, for the work I do.
Right.
Yes. It's difficult. I'd be like, hey, look at me, I'm doing good, right?
Right.
So I can't do that. So I have to have a third party, you know, attack, you know, my clients and be like, well, tell me what you think. And the good thing is that after that, we can focus on what needs to be focused on the network. Network is moving, you know, it's very hard to control a network. It's very difficult because things are moving every day. But, you know, when we do that every month now for our clients, now, you know, we know what to look for. And that's what's important. We know what to look for. And we're raising the bar so high for our client that, you know, the bad acting hackers, because it's done by hackers, ethical hackers. But now the bad acting hacker is like, okay, well, this is too hard. We try this, forget it, next. And they're going to go to the easy target.
Yeah. Well, so let's talk about some of the easiest targets, whether we want to admit it or not, are sometimes our own staff, right? With the best of intentions, they may click on something or fall victim to responding to something without knowing any better. And so I'm personally a huge believer, as I know you are, in staff education and awareness. And this goes for everybody from entry level all the way up to the C-suite. And I go back to my earlier comment about how sophisticated some of the phishing attempts have become in recent years. And I've been amazed, even since I've been here, just at how specific they can be when they do outreach. And it's clear that they have taken the time to really figure out something that will get you to open that email and, God forbid, click on that link or transfer money or whatever it is that the ask is of the moment. So what are your recommendations? What are some of the key components that our practitioners should be thinking about in terms of education and awareness for their own staff?
Well, I mean, you said it right. You know, they have to train, and most of all, what you said is they cannot train just the higher staff. They have to train everybody, because everybody who has access to the computer and the network is a target for hackers. Awareness training is, first of all, is required, you know, by the cybersecurity insurance now, but it has to be done because, like I said, the hacker is always going to use the easiest target. And, you know, you have to remember that people think always, you know, big, like, well, I got the firewall, I got this. So let me tell you, an image, a pixel in an email, a letter, anything can be a gateway for the hacker. It is that small. It is that small. And that's why we tell people, you know, train yourself, train your employees. And that's why, you know, when you have those pen testing coming, then that's to validate, and it validates also the user to say, oh, oops, I clicked that. Yeah. And then we show them, because this is done by hackers, so we show them how little a mistake can be and open your entire network. And it doesn't have to be about multi-factor authentication and encrypted hard drive. It can be a pixel in an email. It can be a letter in an email. It can be anything. And this is enough for a hacker to get an entry point in your network.
Very much so. Very much so.
That's all it takes. So yes, awareness training, a must do. Absolutely, awareness training, a must do. Everything that your managed provider, do for you, which is increasing the safeguard, you have to do this. And don't forget, I mean, if you learn something out of today is, people say, like auditing, an audit, is bad. It's not bad. The pen testing is not bad. It's your chance to be able to be confronted with a hacker, but it's a nice hacker.
Right.
So you're not going to pay for that,
Right.
You're not going to pay for your mistake.
That's a good way to put it. That's a
great way. So it's a freebie basically, right?
Sure.
So it's a freebie to say, oops, we did that. Okay, well, now we're going to do better on this. And that's because we're reaching a point, and I really do listen to CPA when we go to the mega conference with the FICPA or the South conference. I do listen after I speak. They do have concern, and so Christophe, when is enough? What else we need to do? Well, and I hear them, and it's costly, on top of that. Well, this testing yourself is really what's gonna put your mind at ease. It's gonna say, okay, well, now I know. Now I know exactly where we failed, who failed, and what's happening. So it covers your training and things like that. Because on your phishing email, if you have training, they'll put you like a little video and says, oh, you click here, you shouldn't do that, be careful of this. Well, now, when you have hackers in front of you, now it becomes scarier. And so that puts you really on the edge and see how it feels to be attacked. But you attacked, in a nice way. You get a freebie, basically. Yeah.
Thank goodness, right?
Yes, thank goodness, because, you don't want to get, the bad acting hackers. I mean, it's what they do, Shelly. I mean, we're seeing it, with law enforcement, it's phenomenal. I mean, when they realize how small, that's what I want to tell you today, is how small of a mistake you have to make to be vulnerable. And that's what they're looking for. And that's this little thing they're looking for. And so you look at, and it's our mistake, and it's the managed service provider mistake. It's everybody's. It's not a mistake, but we are so embedded into, our client network that we forget to see, the rest of it. And because they're not, embedded into network, they're going to see that little hole, that we left there.
Right.
And they'll see that. Yeah. And that's why it's important to have someone, outside to say, okay, test me. I'm happy to be tested. I do that every month here. I'm like, go ahead, test me. If we find something wrong, we'll fix it. So we'll know.
Yeah, it's the little things, not the big things, right? That are going to keep you up at night. It's truly, and I go back to the staff education for a second. Like we said, it's everybody on staff, every single position, every single layer of employee. I always tell my staff here, I would rather you forward an email to Coaxis 10 times a day going, is this phishing or is this safe? If anything just doesn't seem quite right, just ask. It's better to always check than to not realize or just figure it's okay. And I use phishing as an example a lot, but it's just the way that so many of us get targeted, if you will. But it's always better to ask. And I feel like the more education that staff have, the more that they're more aware of what may just not seem right, and question, okay, maybe I should double check on this before I reply to this or what have you. So education to me is so important. Go ahead, sorry.
I've seen network, to that instance, being destroyed in about 10 seconds.
Oh,
10 seconds. And if you think about it, big network, it was people that I knew, they had about 50, 60 employees, all this, 100,000 of files, 32 years of, being in business, right? 10 seconds.
Unbelievable.
One click. That's all it takes. So, that's why I'm saying it's very important, when we, my fault too, when we are so embedded into the network and we look at it, and we don't test ourselves, it's like we forget the little thing, the tiny little thing, and that one click, it takes about 10 seconds for ransomware to get everything. That one click, that 10 seconds, your world is upside down. You wake up one day, you're fine, and that 10 seconds, boom, it's upside down. And that's why it's so critical, to do that.
Absolutely, which is a great segue to the next question, right? Because if I'm a managing partner or an executive at any one of our firms or organizations, this is what's keeping me up at night, right? Is worried about that very thing. In 10 seconds, this could all be done. So let's just suppose you're one of our members and you're going, okay, I know I need to do more. I know I need to work with someone else on this that's an expert. What types of questions would you recommend that our members be asking when they are looking for data hosting services? What types of things should they be asking of these providers so that they can make sure that they are sourcing quality over maybe a cheaper price or what have you?
Cheaper price, yeah. Well, the one thing, foremost they have to ask is the redundancy of the data center. So a data center has to be redundant by all means, right? So it's the same thing. If we have a power surge or something like that, we really don't care. We have the redundancy to absorb this, okay? Same thing as the internet, same thing as the hardware, same thing as everything. Everything from the cooling to everything should be absolutely redundant. And they should be certified, the redundancy should be certified, should be rated, to do that. So me just telling you, oh yeah, sure, I'm redundant. No, that doesn't cut it. You show me the certification, okay? And usually a data center like ours is being audited every single year. And we have to renew our certification every single year, okay? That's one of the main things. The second thing is, security. Are you, compliant with anything? HIPAA compliancy, criminal justice compliancy, SOC 1 and 2 compliancy? Do you maintain those compliancy, okay? The compliancy, make sure also, because it's NIST 800, it makes sure that you have the control and the processes in place, basically, okay? And the second thing is like what we do here is, are you getting tested? Not yourself, but are you getting pen tested? Are you making sure that you're covering all your vulnerabilities, basically? Because now my client data are here, so I have to make double sure. And then imagine that, so my client data are here and their clients are already here. So I've got a double, dip in here. So I have to make really, really sure, that we are extremely, secure. Nobody's 100% secure, but we're putting the safeguard so high. We pen testing every single month. Every month we got a pen test. So when we do this, we're getting so high on the safeguard that sure we can get hacked, but we're making it very, very hard.
Yeah. And
that's one of the questions they need to ask. You don't go to a a lot of people tell me, well, we go to Azure and stuff like that, which is fine. There is something, you can go to Azure, but some number from Microsoft, right? Not from me, from Microsoft, 73% of, Azure client are getting hacked, 73%. So when we put someone on Azure also, we have to make sure that the safeguard is in place. And again, the safeguard has to be looked at every single month because things move every single month. So those are the questions, that they need to ask. Is, you cannot choose a provider lightly. You're going to put your data in there. You have to be very careful.
Well, and that's a language that our CPA should understand, right? You want to look for people that have the proper certification, licensure, as we would call it, yes, on the license side, and be compliant. Again, it's certification and compliance is everything that we do in the CPA universe. So why would you work with another company that provides a different service that couldn't offer that same level of ethical standards and compliance authentication that we would on the CPA?
And CPA understand that, if they have an MSP, they say, well, we're doing, the testing ourselves. Like, no, you can do that. I don't know, didn't I book myself, you gotta have someone else doing that, right? So, and this thing, CPA are extremely smart people. We deal with them every day. They are very smart people. They're very processed people. So they know, what to ask, and they know how to do this kind of thing because they live in it every day. So,
yes. Well, Christophe, I can't thank you enough. We are, first and foremost, just so proud to call you and the entire Coaxis team a partner. You're one of our most important partners, and I think a testament to how important you are to us is that you do all of our provided services here at FICPA as well. So you're not only a partner in terms of providing education and resources to our members, but you manage all of this for the Institute as well. And that's really just a true testament to how much we believe in what you're doing and your expertise in this space. So we thank thank you so much. And I know that we will see you at some of the conferences coming up this year, especially those after tax season for our tax practitioners that are getting deep into that mode right now. But again, my sincere thanks to you. If anybody wants to reach out to you directly and ask questions or learn more about Coaxis, what's the best place for them to do that?
They can go to coaxiscloud.com for the website. Otherwise, they can call 850-391-1022, and just send us an email. Also, I mean, that's we're open, and we're here to assist everybody in any capacity.
That sounds great. And team, as always, you can find me, Shelly at FICPA.org, or on LinkedIn, Shelly Weir. And I look forward to hearing from all of you soon. And Christophe, my very best to you. I know we'll be seeing each other in person, hopefully here soon, in our beautiful new headquarters here in Orlando, Florida. Thank you for everything you've done to get us set up here. And I'm sending all of our members our very best, and especially sending our tax practitioners my very best right now. Take a deep breath, make sure you're taking a mental minute when you are able, and we're thinking about you. And if you need anything, please let us know. And again, thanks again, and we'll see you soon on the next episode of CEO Conversations.
Thank you very much, Shelly. Have a great day.
Thanks, Christophe.